Good day guys, I'm Ting Wei from the group EndGame, and in this training video, our group gonna explain on the basic elements and some functionalities implemented of the sample applications entitled Student Quiz System, which is using VBScript language. First, you need to install Visual Studio and download the ASP.NET package in order to work with the .NET framework. Then, you have to create a new solution. In this project, I will select a template solutions, ASP.NET web application based on C#. And you need to name out all the properties and click Save it. And choose it MVC format and create it. Now, you can start your coding, but remember VBScript is only can be run on Internet Explorer. So we need to change the default running browser to Internet Explorer. You can change like this. For my group sample applications, it has contained 4 pages, which are register, login, the main content, and the page showing the results. By using the .NET framework, you can see that it groups out our project source code very nicely and thus makes us easier in finding our source file. So let's move forward to the register page. So these are the HTML lines code which showing out the form on the client side, also known as user interface. That means runs on Internet Explorer. So as this runs on Internet Explorer, it is strictly to be remembered that every time must press the F12 key or open up the F12 developer tools and going to the emulation tab, changing the document mode to 10 and changing the user agent strings to Internet Explorer version 10. Otherwise, it cannot run properly. So we can see that there are 3 input fields to be filled in order to register in the system, and there is a button which will redirect to login page. Now, in the script block, I write the functions which will executed when the form name rec form is submitted, which also means the submit button has been clicked and those users' input are submitted. Then, declare the variable needed with the dim keyword and assign with appropriate input fields value. Then I declare the variable needed for database connection and for the input validations. The database used in these applications is Microsoft Access database with the file extensions, the MDB. In order to connect with database, we need to set connections with Access database file and we open up the connections. Now, it is success to connect with the database, and let me show you the entire records in my database. For these applications, we set a logic that a name or an email which already been registered in the system is not applicable to register again. So we need to create an object record database, record sets, and execute the SQL statement which selecting all the records in the database and check for the name and email one by one. So there is occur a logically controlled loop, a while loop, which is the conditions while the record set is not reading out until the end of files, also means ends of the records, then it will keep looping the statement. Inside the while statement, it occurs the logic checkout by using control expression, which is if-then statement in VBScript. It is also very informative to share out that this system we implemented with regular expressions. Regular expressions means the patterns needed to be occur for a particular input. So we declare the variable needs and set the regular expression pattern. For this application, we request users should register the password with at least one uppercase alphabet and one number. At the end, if the error is 0, which means all the validations are passed and the SQL statement will be inserted the records and to the database table, and the success message shall be popped up and redirect to login page, else if you refresh the web page. And we close the object record set and set it to nothing. So let us check about the password validation. So I will type a invalid password, which is this one. Here you see. Okay, so there's not uppercase in here, so I click sign up. So it will prompt out your password must consist at least one uppercase alphabet and one number. So it will refresh again. If everything is okay, then we click sign up. It will pop out registration successfully and please log in, and it will redirect to the login page. So that's all for the functions on behalf of server-side executions as registration part.
Good day everyone, I am Loo Chze Xin from EndGame. Today I'll be talking about the login page. Firstly, we will need to change the document mode of Internet Explorer to 10 so that the VBScript program can run smoothly. You can press on F12 on your keyboard, find the emulation tab, change the document mode to 10. Next, we will need to create a database connection to the MDB so that we can retrieve the data and compare it. Here's the code for the connection with MDB. As we can see, there are two inputs field, which is email and password, which are required to be filled in. Of course, to sign in, user must have a registered account. According to the database, there are a few accounts that are registered to this website. We will use the account of Ting Wei to do the demonstration. So let's put the wrong email and log in to see what will happen. Let's change this to 13. Let's sign in. You will see an error message of invalid email or password. So therefore, if we try to sign in with wrong password or email, both of them will give us the error message. Now we will try to log in with the correct credentials. We can see the password and sign in. Now we can see another error message. The error message are not allowed to submit response. This is because the user has already attempted and submit the response. Here's the code about the validation checking. The system will get the input and compare the input with the data in the database. Let me sign in with the newly registered account by Ting Wei, where the email and both passwords are correct. We can see that the account has been logged in successfully. Upon logging in, there will be a cookie to store the ID of the user and to keep track of its activity upon any submission. Here's the coding part of creating a new cookie. The coding of adding the cookie is similar to JavaScript. Now I will pass to my groupmate Shueh Ting to demonstrate more about the content and cookies. That's all from me. Thank you.
Good afternoon everyone, I'm Lim Shueh Ting. I'm going to explain the content page in our Twitter application. This is the content page that lets the students to answer and submit their quiz questions. Students can put their answer in the input block. If one of the answers is empty, it will not allow the student to submit. This is because we have set the input block which is required field. Student cannot include the length of the answer greater than 4. Like now we type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and only 1, 2, 3, 4 is able to type in. This is because we have set the net length is 4. When student enter ABC and click on the submit button, he is not allowed to submit because the input answer is not matched with the pattern that is set at here and will prompt out a message error. Now we enter the answer. When student click on submit button, the answer should be saved to the database of the current student column. To make sure the answer is saved to the correct student's column, we use the cookies to get the ID. We can check the ID by opening the developer's tools and paste this code. Now we can see the ID is 3 and we check to the database. Ong Jia Xiang ID is also 3 and the answer is 0 because we haven't clicked on the submit. Now we click on the submit. The message box comes out with the answer has been set. Now we check back to the database. We can see that the answer of Ong Jia Xiang is already set to its column. So that is all for the content page. Next, I will present the show result page. To start with show result page, we need to change the IE to 10 first. In this page, there are two components, result list and the submission list. Without pressing any button, the submission list is listed with all the students' names in the database, and this is the code. Student is able to view their result after pressing the See Your Result button. When student press on the See Your Result button, Answer 1 and answer 2 will get from the database and determine the answers are correct or not. It will count the total mark and update to the database. Now we check the database. You can see that the student result is updated. Now we press the lookup button. The function lookup will be rendered and the cookies will be emptied as what we see in the code. This is all of the show result page. Next is the Q&A section.